Hello YouTube, Chrome Freak here. The bolt from the 590 Mossberg. I've had several requests to do this video. It's just been a while. I keep forgetting it, to be honest with you, but we're going to do it right now. It's really not that difficult unless you're sitting at a table on a towel with no bench or vise. Oh well. I can show you this is my little niche on YouTube and how I do it, because not everybody owns a workbench or a garage or all that good stuff. So it can be done. You can do these things. It's got to have a little patience and a little know-how. And I learn a lot of this stuff by either reading or just getting in there and doing it myself. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is, this is the bolt. It's got a double extractor on it, and it's pretty simple. We're going to start by taking the big pin right here in the middle out and remove your cocking block. That's what I call this. It could be completely wrong on the name, but the plate will actually go on that, and when you rack it, this is what's grabbing the plate, letting it slide, and you rack it, moving everything. So just push this pin. It should come right out pretty easily. You might have to use a hammer, and in this case I'm going to have to. As you can see, I don't even have my wood block here. Take a small little hammer like this, take a punch, hold it down kinda, knock it out. Simple as that. It's out. Okay, you're gonna reach in and you're gonna pull the block completely out, just like so. Okay, once you get to this point, there's a little pin, you probably can't even see it. We're gonna go in through the bottom right here. There's a hole in the bottom, and we're gonna knock it straight out the top. Pin's located right there, and here it is on the back. So I'm going to use these little pair of pliers as a block to work with. I'll find the skinniest. It's a 1/16 inch punch. I'm going to put it down into the hole. We're going to knock that right out. Let's go ahead and knock it completely through. Just like so. It comes out just like that. There's no pressure, nothing like that. You ain't got to worry about nothing shooting across the room. Okay, with that, what you do is your firing pin's in there. You just push it out. There it is. Pull it right out the back. Sit it over to the side. You got a little washer here that's very important, and your spring. Lay it off to the side. Now the only thing that we have to take off to completely strip this bolt, this is very easy to do, guys, is the extractors. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably only going to take one side out, because once you take one out, it would be the same procedure to do the other side. Not a big deal. So let's go ahead and just take the one side out, go through the bottom just like this, because this is where I have the biggest gap. Sit it in there. Use your hand to hold it and knock it right out. It's not all the way out yet. And by the way, on these little pins, there it is, it's all the way out. Now that has some pressure, but not a lot. It's just a little spring right here. Pops right out, and there's one extractor out. On the pin itself, you don't want to mar these pins up. It's got little grooves that are notched into the pin itself. And that's what holds the pin in the holes here, is these little notches that are grooved into the pin itself. But that's basically it. I'm not going to take this other extractor off. There's no need to. It's really that simple. You put the spring back in, and we'll do that on video here. But you don't have to do this to your bolt too often. But if you break your gun down like me, I'm pretty anal when it comes to my guns being clean, and I'll probably put 400 or 500 rounds through that shotgun. And it takes a while for me to put 400 or 500 rounds through it, by the way. It's probably once every couple of years that I'll take a bolt down. But I have taken it down, this one here, right here, a few times. It's just been a while. So let's go ahead and put it back together. We'll go ahead and, just the way we ended it, we'll go ahead and we'll do the extractor first. What you want to do, let's put the spring back in the hole, and these little parts are so hard to work with sometimes it'll drive you insane. And here's where you kind of got to be double jointed and double handed and all that good stuff to get things to work. But I'm going to drive it in through the bottom. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong hole. Drive it in through the bottom and out through the top. But to do that, you need to compress this little spring. And here's where the difficulty comes in, especially when you're by yourself. Let's go ahead and knock it down even. Now, you want to be careful you don't mar up, but these bolts are pretty hard. You're using a little hammer like this and taking your time. You should be able to do this on your own. Look, I'm on a kitchen table, man. I mean, I'm not even using my vise, which definitely makes things tougher, but not impossible. Okay, we're going to take... I think I got it where it started into the extractor right now, so the extractor shouldn't pop out, I'm hoping. But it's not in there completely yet. It's not in there very, you know, I'm not confident yet with it. So I'm going to take this punch and knock it down on in there. Now you got to watch here. You want to make sure you are definitely up into the upper you know, through the extractor and up into the other part. But you don't want to knock it too far through, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock it probably just a little bit more. I can see I got a lot more on this end than I got on this end. So I'm probably going to knock it another 1/8 of an inch or so, if that. And, let's see, try to make them even. It's kind of, you know, you just look in there and look at this one, and you just try to make it even. That's all I do. I could be completely wrong on it, but that's what I do. Okay, that's about even. I can see the same amount on this side as I can see on this side. Extractors in, I can check them, they're working very good. Now you just simply go ahead and we're going to put the firing pin back in. Now to do that, you just got to be a little patient here because you got to kind of hold the spring and everything. Start the pin through the back, and then you got to get the spring. We'll get the washer on first, which is not a lot of room. Then you want to get the spring on. Which is easier said than done, but there you go. It's not that difficult. You get it on. Now you want to turn until it starts going in. Now you're hitting with the firing pin. I'm hitting against this end right here, so you got to make sure you get to the hole. You start it in the hole, and you got to make sure that it's up and down like this. So when you put that locking pin back in, it locks. And in order to know where you're at, you're going to look down through it and see, okay? Probably got to push it all the way in, kind of like that, right there. And then you know, when you drive the pin back in there, it's going to hold the firing pin from coming out the back. Okay, there's my little pin there. And I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to drive it through the flat end, which is back here. And I'm going to drive it in this direction. And I'm going to basically do the same thing. I'm going to take my punch, kind of hold it. You can see I'm doing this on a kitchen table on a pair of pliers, guys. So, you know, these are things that you could definitely do at home if you don't have a bench, you don't have a vise. Take some patience sometimes, especially with these small little tools and small parts. It'll drive you absolutely insane. And here I'm having problems because I can't hold everything and hit this at the same time. Once you start to get it started like that, you'll be okay. And I do the same thing. I'm going to look in here, and I'm going to look. I'm coming out the top, so I've actually drove this too far. Drive it back down in. Being careful not to mar this up. You can scratch this a little bit. You take some sandpaper and let me use a bigger punch so I don't slip off of it like I'm doing right here. And just be careful you don't mushroom the ends up too bad. And there you go. I put it flat, that's fine. It's countersunk a little bit actually, which is actually perfect. I can see it in the bottom. Everything's in. The firing pin will not come out. I can promise you. I will check. I will try to let me get the spring out of the way. I will try to force it out. It will not come out. It's being held in correctly. Okay, now the only thing we got left to put back in is our caulking block, which is just slide. You want to make sure the spring, it goes to the back. Okay, the spring's going to fit flat on here, so the spring and the washer are toward the back, where your firing pin would get hit by the hammer, and you just put it down in there. Line the hole up, knock this pin back in, make sure it's equal, and it's not. Let me equalize this. I'm a stickler with these pins being in there equal, and that's it. It's back together. It's as simple as that. I've had requests to do this video for a long, long time. Guys, just don't be afraid. If you're afraid that you're going to hurt something, you probably are going to hurt something. And if you're afraid of losing parts, well, that happens. It's part of the learning curve, part of the process. I wouldn't get into a gun that's worth $5,000 and start playing around with it unless you're very confident in yourself. But stuff like this, if you mess this bolt up, what are you talking, 40, 50 bucks? But you're not going to mess the bolt up. You might lose a spring. You might mar a pin up. Worst that can happen is you call Mossberg on the phone, all humble, and you say, I need to order the pins for the bolt. I messed it up. And you order it, and you put it back together, and lesson learned, but now you know how to do it. So, a lot of this stuff is a lot of common sense stuff. If you got just a little bit of a mechanical inclination, you can do it. And you can do it, and you don't need a garage. Garage is very nice, I ain't gonna lie. And the vise is nice, but look, man, I can do that. I can do them videos in there on that vise and that table and make life a whole lot easier on me doing these videos. But half the fun is doing it right here, knowing that we can do it with basic tools and a little bit of knowledge. We can do it without having, I would rather spend my money on the firearms and the ammunition and all that than spending it on a workbench. Don't get me wrong, the workbench is nice, but not everybody is in a position to do that. And if you gotta defend your family and your home and all that, and you're on a limited budget, I'm a big do-it-yourself guy, and here you go. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I got some great videos coming up. Stay tuned. I never say that about my videos, but I really think this is a great series coming up about the AKs, Dragunov, and all that. And ready to do it, guys. Once again, I'm very humbled by all the subscriptions. Keep your questions coming, your PMs. I love answering questions. I love it when you guys ask my opinion. I think that's fantastic. But just keep in mind, I am definitely not a professional. I'm just a regular guy like you guys. And I just enjoy my firearms, and I'm a part of the community on YouTube, and I love being a part of that gun community. All right, YouTube. See ya.